Alright, so welcome back to the James Rich Show. This is the first one. The first one after the Euros. Um, well, we have to say something about the Euros tonight. You know, they've been rather exciting, I could say the least. We've had quite a few drinks, a lot of good time being an England fan, obviously, except for the final. So yeah, it was a good time. I'm glad to that it's over now. It was a great month of football. But now what we're going to pivot on to, we've been speaking about the Euros. Obviously, everything always comes back to the Premier League. It's not long now till it starts. It'll be back next month. And now it's transfers time, which is probably one of the most interesting times of being a football fan. The gossip over transfers. I mean, I remember when that term came up, fake news. It's a relatively new term when Trump came into power and that new term, fake news, came up. There's been fake news in transfers and transfer deadline day forever. You just get people tweeting things. Oh, Neymar's off to Man United. Gets a few retweets. People believe, and people want to believe. You just say you got a few sources, and you know, it's a crazy time, the transfer deadline day. I remember it used to be a lot better years ago. I remember, if you'll remember, when Ozil went to Arsenal on transfer deadline day. Sky Sports News do an amazing transfer deadline day show. But yeah, if any of you are on Twitter, we're on Twitter at the James Rich Show, and that's where it's all happening, really, the transfer gossip. I mean, who we first going to talk about is Messi. It doesn't look like he's ever going to leave Barcelona. It looks as if he's going to sign a new 2-year deal at Barcelona, but on lower wages. It's interesting to see if anyone else actually tried to get him. I mean, who could have got him? Maybe Man City, maybe PSG, but it always looked as if he was staying at Barcelona, and he'll probably will stay at Barcelona. He'll just be a one-player club, a one-man club. But I mean, he's came back from winning the Copa America, which, let's be honest, I didn't watch any of the Copa America. I don't know who decided to put that on at the same time of the Euros. It's because the Euros were back a year. That's probably why. My bad. But yeah, it was afterwards. He's just won the Copa America with Argentina, and another player that has just won it with Argentina is this playmaker for Udinese, De Paul. He's just gone to Atletico Madrid for about 35 million euros, which is quite a good deal. He looks like a good player. He was instrumental in helping them win the Copa America. But Barcelona are a very strange club at the moment. I mean, I've been reading gossip and rumours that they want to swap Griezmann, who they bought for over 100 million euros, with Saul Niguez. He's an excellent player. But I think it's Saul Niguez and 15 million for Griezmann, which is obviously an amazing deal for Atletico. I mean, Atletico mugged Barcelona off last year by signing Suarez on a free, and then he goes and gets all the goals, and Atletico win the league. And this year, they're going to get Griezmann back and swap him for Saul. You know, Saul's not even their best centre midfielder. I mean, and they've just signed this Argentinian fella that's just going to take his spot anyway. So, yeah, that would be brilliant business by Diego Simeone if he could get that done. Get Griezmann back at Atletico, because I think I mean, I don't really watch too much La Liga. I've seen Griezmann's very good for France. He's with Barcelona are not that special in the Champions League anymore, so I've not really seen Griezmann play too much. But I knew in his Atletico Madrid days, and even in his France, he was instrumental in France winning the 2018 World Cup. He's a special player, very special player. For whatever reason, it's not worked out for him at Barcelona. But it's not worked out for a lot of players at Barcelona. I don't know what's going on at Barcelona at the moment. It's very strangely ran, very strangely managed. It's like the banter club of football. They've taken over from Arsenal, Barcelona. Who they're linked with. I mean, who have they just signed? They've just got that Memphis Depay. I suppose he's on a free, but he's a good player, but he's not good enough to play for Barcelona. I mean, he might be a squad player, but if that's who they're relying on to take the league back, and you know, and millions of miles off the English clubs in the Champions League, because you've got Liverpool to come back as well. I don't think Memphis Depay is going to get Barcelona back to where they need to be. I think they need to buy someone super special like Mbappe or Haaland, but these players probably don't want to go to Barcelona at the moment. There's better clubs to go to if you want to win things. Barcelona at the moment are in a really real rut. They've just signed, obviously, their club legend Messi back after last year's debacle where he wanted to leave. But clearly he can't. It's a strange one with Messi. I mean, surely every club would do whatever they can in their power to sign Messi, and they haven't. So we'll wait and see with that situation with Barcelona. I don't think there'll be anything special at all next season again. And Atletico are getting stronger. I mean, another player as well that's has just moved on a free. There's quite a few free transfers this year. I mean, if one of the teams wanted him, you could have got Messi on a free, which would have been the coup of the millennium. To get Messi, you don't even have to pay for Messi. You could have got him on a free. But it doesn't look like he was even allowed to speak to anyone, and he didn't seem like he wanted to either. So, but Donnarumma, who's just got Player of the Tournament, which makes perfect sense. He's just went to PSG, which, in my opinion, I think that's a poor move for him. He'll just go off into obscurity now, like Neymar. He could have been. I mean, he will be. Well, not could have been. He's going to be one of the best goalkeepers in the world. He's probably He's near one of the best right now, if you think about it. Who's better than him? But if PSG is a poor league, the French league, very poor league, and the only thing they've got is the Champions League, and PSG are probably the most underwhelming team in the Champions League. You know, everyone, for some reason, they've always been 4-0 up or 3-0 up, and a lot of teams are able to get it back against them. So they are bottle jobs in the Champions League, and they really do need to win the Champions League. A bit like Man City, really. I mean, them two clubs are very similar, and we don't hope for that to be ever a final, Man City PSG, because then we've certainly lost football if that's the final of the Champions League. But the other players you've got, I mean, Donnarumma's gone there. I mean, who could have got him though? Who needs a goalkeeper? Chelsea always love signing a goalkeeper. Obviously, they signed that Kepa. I mean, I don't know what their plans are with Kepa. £70 million player that doesn't play, and then they've got the new lad, Mendy. They signed him for 25 million. He looks pretty good though, to be fair. So Chelsea are not going to spend. I mean, I suppose he's free, Donnarumma, but yeah, Chelsea could have done with him. I mean, Man City don't need him. Liverpool don't need him. Man United don't need him. So the English clubs don't really need him. Real Madrid don't need him. Courtois, Barcelona have got a good goalkeeper. Atletico have got one of the best. There's a lot of good goalkeepers around. That's the problem. So maybe he did make the right decision. But unless Juventus wanted him, if I was him, I would have went to Juventus. But if Juventus didn't want him, what can he do? So let's have a look at the more attacking players that have been linked away with the clubs now. I saw today Alfing, that's his dad, Alfing Haaland. Erling Haaland, that's the guy's name. One of the best, probably one of the most promising young players in the world. I mean, I think the move to Dortmund that he done was brilliant. Just to put himself in the spotlight, get lots of goals, and then his next move is going to be the one where he makes this is marquee signing for a club. It's going to be 100 million plus signing maybe this summer. But apparently, I mean, I don't know if there's any truth to this. I was reading this on Twitter today, that next summer he'll have a 75 million euros release clause, which if you think that's a steal, you get him for 75 million next summer. Whoever gets him is getting 25 goals in the league respectively. So he's an excellent player, an excellent player. He's got everything to go to the top. It seems like he's got a great attitude as well. So Haaland, who should sign Haaland? Apparently, as well. I mean, BBC reported today that Chelsea had a bid rejected of 75 million. So maybe they're holding out for more. But I mean, he's so young. He's only 20. I think he's 21 next week. So even if you're paying 100 million for Haaland, you sign him on a 5-6 year contract, you've got the best years of his career. So one of these teams, Real Madrid, they need a striker. There's a lot. There's a lot of people with the strikers. A lot of people, a lot of clubs that need a striker. Let's go to see what our viewers are saying. So PSG for Champions League. I don't think so. I mean, as I said to you, if you were listening earlier in the stream, they don't play at a competitive enough level for them to, by the time the last stages of the Champions League's up, and you're going to say, a lot of people say, oh, well, they didn't win the league last year. Okay, yeah, fair enough. But who did they go out to last year? I can't even remember. But by the time they get to the last stages, they just don't have it in them. And a lot of clubs, not even, that Man United side that brought it back, that's a poor side, that side. Um, so I can't see PSG winning it. I mean, the bigger question there is Man City winning it? I mean, how have they never won it? And they must be favourites next season. So what is we saying? Get Ramos at at PSG or at Juve? I think I can see him going PSG definitely, and that would be a brilliant move for Ramos to go to PSG at the end of his career. What else are we saying? Dortmund could have a lot of money spent. Yeah, of course they could. But they don't really normally spend it. They're really good with their money. And they develop young players all the time, don't they? So, they've got Jude Bellingham as well, who they're going to sell him for a lot of money. I mean, I think he's only 18, so he's still very young. He'll be there for another couple of years, and he'll probably go for 100 million plus. They got that Claudio Reyna's son. He'll go for a lot of money. I mean, they sold Pulisic for a lot of money. Yeah, whoever's running Dortmund is running that very, very well. Dortmund is an exceptionally well-run club. And they sort of know that they can't keep Haaland and Sancho in their primes, but they give them, it's an amazing, because they're always in the Champions League as well, aren't they, Dortmund? So you're going to get Champions League football. It's at a good level, the German league. It's not like the French league, no disrespect to French football. But it's a high level. So, you can see a lot of the English teams are sending their players out on loan to Germany. It's a good strategy. So, yeah, I mean, Dortmund have got a lot of money to spend. I can't see them spending it. They'll just probably buy up the better young German players in the German league and mould them and then sell them on for hundreds of millions, like they seem to be doing now. I mean, Benfica and Porto, they used to be like that, and they still are to a certain extent. And they just mould players into good players and then sell them to the bigger clubs for 50 million plus. But the other thing that I saw today, this was from Sky Sports News, is that Varane is apparently allowed to enter negotiations with Manchester United, which, I think I've always thought they've always, for whatever reason, last few years, Man United have always been linked with Sergio Ramos and Varane. And, I mean, they could get Sergio Ramos now because he's on a free. But apparently he's on the way to PSG. But you could have seen him, Man United signing for Sergio Ramos. He has signed, yes. Ramos has signed with PSG. I saw that he was just about to, so it's confirmed now. But yeah, Varane as well. They've always been linked with Varane. Now, I always thought in the past, why would Varane leave Real Madrid to go to Man United? He wouldn't. But maybe, Real Madrid are not looking that great anymore since Ronaldo left. They've got a bit of a rebuilding. Man United, to be fair to them, they got some great young players. And they've just went out and got Sancho, who's another great young player. They look like they're going places at least. And he's going to, I don't know how old, I think Varane's about 27, 28. So, he needs, I don't blame him for a big money move to go to Man United. I could see, and that would be good for Maguire actually, to play next to such a quality player like Varane. Because Varane reads the game really well. I would say he's one of the best centre-backs in the world. So if Man United are able to get him, that would be an amazing signing if they ended up with Varane and Sancho. That's literally like something you do on FIFA rather than in real life. But if they end up with them two, that would be brilliant. But I mean, I was going to move on to the clubs. I mean, we could start off with. I was going to start off with Man City, obviously, because they won the league. Who are they interested in? Who do you think they should sign? I mean, they've always. I can't really think of many Man City flops under Pep Guardiola at all. They always seem to, whenever they need a player, they go out and they get the right player. And they all seem to do well for the club. They always do a job. Um, and Man City need a striker. Sebulously, sorry, it's hard to say that. As you probably do that one on purpose. Linked with Grealish, yeah. I think every club's linked with Grealish. But obviously, Man City, if they want him, he would probably go there. I mean, if I was a professional footballer right now and I was as good as Grealish or Kane, Man City would be the team I go to because you know you're going to win things. And with all due respect to Villa and Spurs, you're not going to win anything there. So if you go to Man City, even if you don't win the league, you're probably going to win the Champions League. And if you don't win the Champions League, you're probably going to win the league. And even if you don't win both, you're definitely going to win the League Cup and the FA Cup. So yeah, if you want to win trophies, go Man City, and that's probably what Kane is thinking. Because I think Kane. All right, we're back in business. These headphones, I'll have to get a new set. Um, what were we saying about Kane? I think Kane left I mean, he's not left, but he wants to leave. I mean, he's quite old. How old is he now? 27, 28? He needs to leave. With all no offence, if there's any Tottenham fans out there, Kane has to leave. Because he's wasted his time at Spurs. He's won nothing. I mean, Spurs have done well under their circumstances, yes, but what's he won? Nothing. And that's what football's about, isn't it? At the end of the day, how much do you win? You know. So I think Man City will get Kane. I mean, because that would be such a Man City thing to do. They lost Aguero, who's probably one of the best strikers in the Premier League ever. Let's just sign the other one, who's another great Premier League striker, Harry Kane, who will get the job done for him. You know, he's going to get him the goals, and he wants to leave. Spurs will always sell, but they always get good money out of him. So he's going to be 100, 120 million, something like that. And everyone's going to be a winner out of this transfer, except Spurs fans, obviously. Because I don't know who they're going to replace Harry Kane with. That's a big ask. And everyone seems to be in the market for a striker at the moment because it's the most important position. But Grealish, as you said, the Man City, I don't know. I mean, he will get in, but it's not easy for him. There's so many players in that position. You know, you've got Foden that's coming through as well, that's playing in that position. You've got Bernardo Silva. You've got De Bruyne. You know, there's a lot of players in that, you know, free role number 10 position at Man City for Grealish to dislodge and get in. I'm not saying he can't. He's a very, very good player. But I think, honestly, I don't know if they want him, but I think Liverpool should sign Grealish. Gini Wijnaldum's left, so they need to replace a midfielder. And Grealish is very versatile as well. You can play him in the front three, or you can play him in the middle three for Liverpool. So I think Liverpool should go out and get Grealish. And Liverpool have got that bonus. I don't know how they managed to pull it off. They still got the Champions League football. But I mean, no one's really talking about Liverpool at the moment. But I fancy Liverpool for next season. Last season seems to be just a hiccup, or maybe it was because Virgil van Dijk was out for the season. Perhaps looked like it that way. I mean, the defence was not that good. I mean, Salah was very good last season. But the other thing about Liverpool, and we were talking about Harry Kane, is Liverpool have never had a proper. Well, they've obviously had one, but not for a while. They've never had a proper number 9, and I mean, I can't see it happening. But if Harry Kane's signed for Liverpool, that would be. He would get a lot of goals at Liverpool, a lot of goals with the creativity. If Liverpool play like when they won the league and Harry Kane was in the team, I think he would break all the records for Premier League goal scoring. He'd get so many chances. And maybe you can just bring Firmino back into the midfield and play a proper number 9. That's up to Klopp. You know, he obviously knows what he's doing. But they're never really interested in a proper striker. We already mentioned slightly about Man United. As I mentioned earlier, they're in talks to sign Varane, which would be an amazing signing because defensively Man United do look a bit poor at times. I mean, Maguire is a good player, you can tell, but I think he needs someone else there that's strong, that can read the game better than he can, and Varane would be a good signing. If they had Wan-Bissaka, Varane, and Maguire and Shaw, that's not a bad back line at all. I mean, they've got Shaw to come back, who must still be on top of the world. He had an excellent tournament, Luke Shaw. So he must be ready to go at Man United. He's been finding his feet for a while, Luke Shaw. He was always a great left back at Southampton, and there was always parts of him at Man United. You thought, yeah, this is a good player, but Man United may have a great player in Luke Shaw next season. I can see him being very good for him. But apparently, I don't know if it's done or not, but they're keeping everybody on edge. Is this Sancho deal? Because I remember when England played Ukraine and he got it in, that was the day that it said that the fee was agreed, and everyone sort of knew for a while that Sancho was going to Man United. It was just a matter of time. But I still don't think he's confirmed. I mean, is anyone in the comments can tell me if Sancho is confirmed? I don't think he's confirmed yet. He's probably still on holiday, but obviously I want to get the deal through. Um, but Man United look like, I mean, who else are they going to sign? If they get them two, they're going to cost quite a lot of money. I don't know how much money Man United are going to have got available, but Man United will fancy a striker as well. If they could get Harry Kane or Haaland, you know, that would be an amazing attacking line as well, and it would give him a lot of options as well. I mean, his midfield's is good. Maybe he needs a good combative defensive midfielder, maybe one of those Italian ones. That would be good. Sancho medical is apparently this week, yes. So it's still not finalised, but I think it's 99% done, isn't it? I'd be surprised if anyone else, maybe Man City come in at the end and bid higher. That would be quite funny. Um, but yeah, so Sancho's a done deal to Man United, I think, and it's a good signing. It's a good signing. I mean, you're saying, is it a good move for Sancho? I think Man United are a strange team. I think they've got some brilliant players. And, if you look at how they perform on paper, just from the results, they do well, they've got getting Champions League football. They're one of the better sides. They should get top four this season, but they don't look like they're ever going to get anywhere near Liverpool when they won the league, or when Chelsea won the league, or when Man City won the league. They're always the second best, but they're such a major drop off from when the team that wins it. Like, they've never been in a proper title race, I don't think, Man United. But they've got the players too. I mean, if they get Sancho, if he's got, I know he gets goals for Dortmund. If he brings his goals with him, they've got Mason Greenwood, who's probably one of the best young players in the world at the moment that we didn't get to see at the Euros. And they've got Rashford. And if they can short their back line, you never know. There's going to be a lot of competition this year. But was it a good move for Sancho? For me, if I was Sancho, yes. Like, where else could he go? I mean, he was at Man City, wasn't he? As a youth player, he's probably thinking, oh, I would want to go back to Man City. But once again, would he get into Man City? He probably would, but it's not a guaranteed starter at Man City. Whereas at Man United, he's going to play every game. He's going to come in. No one's got the 7th shirt for United, have they? I can't remember. No, I don't think so. But he's going to get a nice shirt for United. He's going to have a massive contract. He's going to be, he's going to be one of the next superstars for Man United. Hopefully, that's what they're all thinking. He's English. They want, English player wants to play for an English team normally, unless it's Real Madrid or Barcelona. Oh yes, Cavani is number 7. Yes, maybe. I mean, if he's going for that amount of money, they maybe might get rid of one of the guys with the numbers, or they might just tell him to wait, because even if Cavani has got number 7, he probably won't stay there for long. He'll be there for what, a year, maybe 2 years max. He's quite old now, so Sancho will be because it's an iconic number, isn't it? The number 7 shirt at Man United. George Best, David Beckham, Cristiano Ronaldo, Jadon Sancho. That's what he'll be thinking, and I don't blame him. I mean, he's a talented guy, talented player. And another thing, he was one of them that missed a penalty. He'll probably be raring to go and really hungry to show his worth on the pitch. I mean, obviously, as I said in the review game, I don't blame him for missing a penalty. It's anyone can miss a penalty. It's not his fault. It's not not anyone's fault. It's the collective. Um, but yeah, I think Man United are looking all right. They're looking all right, and they're buying some good players, and they've got some. I mean, they've got Bruno, who seems to be probably one of the best attacking midfielders in the league, probably after De Bruyne. I'd say he's probably the second best, and he's always creating something. Bruno, always, whether it's he's always moving the ball forward. He's got brilliant vision, and he's got a good shot. He's amazing at set pieces, and it depends what Pogba turns up. You know, if Pogba turns up, that how he plays for France, and you've got him with Bruno, Man United could do a lot this season. I mean, it's sad to say, but if they did have a top quality manager, which let's be honest they have, but Jose Mourinho, I would say, is a bit finished now. If they had a top quality manager, you know, like Klopp or Pep, or even this Chelsea manager Tuchel, um, or Allegri, you know, one of these managers, I think Man United would be very, very dangerous. But Solskjaer, I'm not sure about. I don't know his style. It doesn't look consistent to me, but he seems to be buying very well. I mean, if you can pull these two off, and he wants Varane and Sancho, that's, you know, he knows what he knows how to buy in the transfer market. Solskjaer, I can give him that. I mean, let me move on to Liverpool, because there's not really that much. I mean, there probably is. The Liverpool fans will tell me on Twitter there is a lot of transfer gossip, but there isn't really like one player that's like, oh, you know, like Man United have got Sancho, Chelsea have got Haaland, City have got Kane. There's no one that Liverpool look like they're in business for. They might just have another quiet, because they sometimes do just have quiet transfer windows, and then they'll just. What I can see at Liverpool is they haven't sold him. Wijnaldum's went to PSG as well. Was it PSG? Yes, he went to PSG. Well, they've signed. Yeah, I mean, if PSG signed Wijnaldum, Sergio Ramos, and Donnarumma on a free, that's not bad, to be fair. That's not bad. Three world-class players on frees. But yeah, so they need to replace Wijnaldum, Liverpool. They need to replace him. Now, what I can see them doing is just promoting that Curtis Jones to replace Wijnaldum, which, you know, it works for Liverpool. I mean, if he's good enough, get him in, you know. If he's good, and he does look a very talented player. He's good on set pieces. He's got a good touch. He's got good vision. He looks good. So why bring in someone who's okay to stunt your, you know, a young Liverpool player's growth? That's the only thing that. Let me just drag it back to Sancho. People can tell me that Sancho can play through the middle, which maybe he can. But let's say I'm assuming he plays right wing. So if he plays right wing, surely he's going to get in the way of Mason Greenwood. But maybe they can play together. I'm not sure. Maybe it will be he'll play the three up front, won't he? He'll play Greenwood, Rashford, and Sancho. Cavani will be on the bench, and then he'll have to play like 4-3-3, or I suppose he could play 4-2-3-1, but I don't think any of them can play that 10 role. He'd get in the way of Bruno. But with Liverpool, um, no, not really. I think, as I said earlier in the broadcast, I think that Grealish should go to. They should sign Grealish, Liverpool, if they are going to replace Wijnaldum. But I can see them just replacing him with Curtis Jones and having a quiet window. Let me move on to Chelsea then. So Chelsea, they don't really need that much to push on. They've got the Champions League in the bag. They've got a good manager. They've got a lot of good players that joined last season that have had a year to get used to Chelsea, and maybe a few of them are going to come through this year. They've got a lot of good quality and depth. I think Chelsea are definitely going to contend for the league this season. And they're not really being spoke about. They got quality everywhere. They've got Kante, Jorginho in the centre midfield. They've got good centre backs. They've got Christensen. They've got Rudiger. They've got Azpilicueta that can go in there. They've got good width if they need it. But they haven't got a good striker. That's what they miss. And Chelsea have always had a great striker. You know, they've had Drogba. Whatever you said about him, Diego Costa was great for them. Unfortunately, Torres wasn't. But I think they need a striker, and they need to go out and get either Haaland or Kane. Just go out and get the best. Don't be signing, you know, Danny Ings or someone like that, which I don't think they will. I think Chelsea are shrewd. I think they're going to sign a great player to put up front, and that player will just get them 25 a season. So what are we saying here? Liverpool linked with Saul from Atletico. Saul seems to be linked with everyone. He must really want to get out of Atletico. I mean, I think he plays, but maybe. I mean, he's not old, but he's 26, 27. He's probably thinking he wants a big money move, doesn't he? You know, if he goes to Liverpool or one of the Premier League clubs or even Barcelona, it's going to be a good contract for him. And I mean, he's won the league. He's won the league twice with Atletico, so there's not that much more for him to achieve at Atletico. But if Liverpool got Saul, that would be a good signing. I mean, you forget about that Liverpool got Thiago Alcantara, who I used to think was one of the best centre midfielders in the world, and I think that he still is. But um, maybe might take a year to come into his own because he is top quality. You got him too. But Saul would be an amazing signing for Liverpool, and I don't think he's going to break the bank. But I don't know if you've heard of the other rumour of them swapping, Barcelona swapping Griezmann for Saul and 15 million. I think Saul would probably prefer Barcelona to Liverpool because he's just Spanish, isn't he? Like they always just stay. If you can go to Barcelona, they'll go to Barcelona. But that would be a great signing for Liverpool. Saul, great signing. Um, I mean, I was going to cover. I mean, they're the top four, aren't they? That I've spoke about: City, United, Liverpool, Chelsea. They're the Champions League clubs. Leicester. I mean, will Leicester do well next season? They've got good quality. They've got goal scorer in Jamie Vardy. They may surprise us again next season, but I don't know if they will. But I think they'll still be easily, top eight. They've got a lot of quality. Brendan Rodgers. I don't think he's a top manager, but he's a Premier League standard manager. He's a good manager for a Leicester or Everton or even Spurs but he's not Liverpool standard. He's not Man United standard. He's not Chelsea standard. But I was going to comment on Arsenal. I think what Arsenal need to do, and I was thinking of why the manager they've got, Arteta, how he's never under pressure, it seems, to lose his job. I don't know. He must have a great vision. He must be a very smart person to keep the job that he's got for such a long amount of time, because there doesn't seem to be any progress at Arsenal. In fact, they got worse. Let's be honest. They came 10th this season. And they got knocked out by a poor Villarreal side, and I mean, you could say they went on to win it, but that was a poor final, that Europa League final. And Arsenal, what do I see in Arsenal? I think the only thing Arsenal can do, and what they should do, because they've got the quality to do it, is just put all their energy into their young players, because they've got some quality, amazing young players. They're not and whoever they're linked with, they're not going to make the team better. They need to put their energy into Saka, into Smith Rowe, even Joe Willock. He's going to come back from loan with Newcastle. He played well. He's a good player. They need to just invest in their own at Arsenal. Like that's what they were always good at in the past, and they need to go back to that way. And maybe Arteta has this Pep Guardiola philosophy. Maybe he does. And he must do. He must be a great talker, how he's able to keep the board and everyone happy. He mustn't be on too much money either. But I think if the results don't go right for Arsenal in the first 5, 6 to 10 games, there'll be pressure on him straight away, because he doesn't have anything to offer except that he was he's out of the stable of Pep Guardiola. That's it basically. He's not even, I know he played for Arsenal, but he's not even an Arsenal legend. And so I don't think I think he won't last till Christmas if he can't pull this round, Arteta. Unless, as I said, he must be an amazing talker. He must say to them, this is a 5-year vision. We're going to be like Pep Guardiola's team, and they must believe it. So, best of luck to him. But they sacked the one before him. What was his name? The Spanish guy. Can't remember his name, but he manages Villarreal. They sacked him for a lot less. Arsenal have Balogun and Martinelli as well. Yes, you're right. I've not really seen much of Balogun, but Martinelli is a very good player. You've got Martinelli, Smith Rowe, you've got Saka. If this Balogun can come in, I mean, they got Aubameyang to come back as well. I think that's why they done so poorly last year, because Aubameyang didn't really play. He was out injured for most of the season, and he's a goal scorer, isn't he? I mean, he gets loads of goals for Arsenal. And if he doesn't score a lot of the time, Arsenal suffer. But I think they need to get rid of a lot of players at Arsenal. A lot of the deadwood, you know, a lot of them that have just been around since Wenger's there, and they just need to get rid of them and just bring in a new spirit. And they need to just invest in their youngsters. Spurs, on the other hand, I don't know where they're going to go from here. I'll be honest. I mean, they're not going to keep Kane. Kane's going to want to go. He's already said he wants to go. Man City want a striker, and Chelsea want a striker, and Man United want a striker. So he's going. It's only a matter now of how much, in my opinion. So, they're all going to agree. And I think he'll go Man City, but, I mean, they're then going to have to replace Kane with who? I don't know. Whoever that is, he's got a hard job. And even if they did keep Kane, I still don't think they've got enough quality to get the top four, Spurs. I don't think they've got the quality. I mean, Son's very good, but I mean, they were very good under Pochettino, but they don't really have a style of play like the rest of the teams. They just seem to be. They seem to. They don't seem to have a. I mean, when Mourinho was there, it's Mourinho's style. He might sometimes park the bus, and then sometimes they play very expansive. But I mean, if they lose Kane and they lose all them goals, it's going to be hard to keep that team together because I can see a lot of the others leaving as well. Um, so I mean, yeah, and they've got a new manager as well, as you say. I was going to cover the managers. Well, I will cover the managers now. They've got the Wolves manager, Nunes. Is it Nunes Espirito? I'm sorry for those Portuguese pronunciation. But, I mean, I like him as a manager, but he's, he plays good football. Wolves are a solid Premier League club. It's a good brand of football that they're playing. But I don't think I don't think they need. I think it's a bit of a downgrade from like even from Mourinho. From Mourinho, it's a downgrade, and then before that, Pochettino. I don't think he's the same level as they are. But this might be the big job that he needs. So, and he's got he's good at buying players and molding them into good players. So they might be quiet. I mean, everyone might think. I mean, well, as I said, if they lose Kane, they're finished. But maybe he might have other ideas. I don't know about Spurs. They're either going to be terrible or they're going to do something. That's what I can say about Spurs. But I'm expecting them to be, terrible, 8th, 9th, 10th, something like that, especially if they lose Kane. Um, but the other managers, I was thinking, I made a list of the managers of who's the. I mean, I think the Premier League's got the best managers. They're going to have three next season, and I think these three are all vying for the title. I think it'll be Liverpool with Klopp, City with Pep, and Chelsea with Tuchel. Them three, I think it could be a three-horse race next season. If it's not a three-horse race, I can see Liverpool dropping off because of their form last season. But if Liverpool can get it back, like what they had the season before, or even anywhere near close to that, they'll be in a chance of getting the title. Chelsea, for obvious reasons, especially if they get a striker, a world-class striker, they're already on a high from winning the Champions League. So, and then you got Man City, you got Pep. He's probably the best manager in the world. Them three are the best. Some of the three are the best out there at the moment. Obviously, I'd say Klopp and Pep are on their own level, and then you've got Tuchel, that's an excellent manager. And then you've got what I was thinking at the other big clubs, Man United, Solskjaer. I mean, if the Man United fans are going to be honest with themselves, where do you see Man United in 2 to 3 years' time? Do you see them? I mean, because they've always had that vision of Ferguson times, but do you see them like how Liverpool were a year last season, the season before, or how Man City were last season? Do you see Man United being dominant like both them teams, or even when Chelsea were with Conte? I don't see that with Solskjaer. I think he's buying some good players, but with his football philosophy, I just don't see it going anywhere really. to build a legacy. So I would just get rid of Solskjaer personally if I could make that choice. If they said to me, James, do you want him to be if they called me up in the show, do you think Solskjaer would go? I'd say yeah. I don't see the long-term future. We'll get rid of him, and you'd get a manager that you put him in and give him 3 years to build something and a good style of football, So I don't rate Solskjaer. Arteta, for obvious reasons, I don't rate because of his results, and he doesn't have anything to really. The only thing he has to rely on about himself is that he's Pep Guardiola's boy, and that's it. So I imagine any optimistic fans about Arsenal fans are thinking, oh, eventually it'll turn out like a Pep Guardiola side. There's nothing really else to say about Arteta than that. So if that doesn't work, they're right back where they all started when they got rid of Wenger. And then you've got the Spurs manager, as we were saying, Nuno. I think I'm not really going to judge him because this is his first big job. No offence to Wolves. And he could do well, or he could. I really can't call it with the Spurs manager and Spurs. We'll have to see with Spurs. But I mean, if I had to bet, I don't think Spurs are going to do well this season. So I'd say Nuno's not going to do very well. But we'll wait and see. But especially with the Premier League back, watch out for we'll put out a link in the next few shows about the fantasy football. It's always good fun. See who we can pick. That's the gems that we can pick that will get us some good points. So we'll start the fantasy football off with the James Rich Show. And follow us on Twitter, James Rich Show. Always trying to see what the best transfers are. I mean, let's think who's going to go this. I think the biggest transfer of the summer will be Kane. I think Kane's going to go to Man City. It'll only be about a matter of time because Man City always get the job done, and Kane wants to leave, and he will break the record. What's this question? Rafa at Everton. I think that was a really strange appointment. And I remember seeing all the Liverpool fans always playing the video when Rafa says Everton are a small club and now he's the manager. But I mean, Carlo Ancelotti I thought was pretty strange for him to go back to Real Madrid. I didn't see that one coming either. But maybe Real Madrid wanted stability and now Everton want a bit of stability. Everton have always had a bit of money to spend. They've always had a bit of money to spend, Everton. I think Rafa will be alright. I think he'll do the same job as Carlo Ancelotti. I think they'll get like 8th or 9th. But I can't see Everton getting top 4. They haven't got enough quality. I don't think Dominic Calvert-Lewin is top. He's not going to get him 20 plus goals a season every season. I just don't see where the goals are coming from at Everton. They've got some good players, but I don't think they've got the quality to push on into the top 4. What they've been wanting to do for the last 15 years and could never really do. But yeah, so most of the next streams we'll be talking about the transfers, and we'll be doing who's going to go where, and we'll be mainly talking about what clubs are going to be doing. We'll maybe do some reviews on the club's transfers. Maybe we'll do some reviews about predictions for one of the next streams. So what we're saying here, can you see Spurs buying Dominic Calvert-Lewin? Yeah, that's not a bad shout actually. I could see that actually happening. With the Kane money, yeah, I could see that. But Everton don't need the money, but it depends how good. I mean, who's the Spurs manager? I don't know. I can't see Nuno getting Dominic Calvert-Lewin really. But I don't know. I could definitely see that happening. But he wouldn't cost that much less than Harry Kane, would he really? Let's be honest. Harry Kane will go for 100. Calvert-Lewin will go for like 60, 65, 70. He'll be at minimum 50. Why would Everton sell him? Especially if they know you got the Kane money. But one thing I did want to talk about is Mbappe. Mbappe's out of contract next season. So, all the clubs this season, he's not going to be 200 million to buy him now. If you wanted, you could get a cheeky little bid in for like, 100 million. Maybe you could get him. Because if he doesn't do anything with his contract, PSG are getting nothing. They're getting jack squat. So, you know, maybe a club moves for Mbappe because there's a lot of clubs that could do with him as well. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for the the questions. We'll see you all next time. Remember to follow us. You see all our social media icons on the banner, but it's James Rich Show. So follow us on social media, James Rich Show. Have a nice evening. See you later.